episode 4 of the High Country Hunter. Today we're going to go through everything that goes into my pack when I go away on a backpacking trip into the Victorian High Country, chasing sambar deer, as well as what I wear walking around in the high country. So I'll preface this whole episode by saying that I'm by no means an expert hunter or an expert bushman. I'll be straight up, I haven't shot a sambar in the high country yet. So I'm still learning as I go, but I have spent a bucket load of time out in the bush so far. So I'd like to think I've kind of got my kit pretty well sorted. There probably will be a few changes over summer. So I'll go through those when we hit different points in the video, different bits of kit that I'll look at changing through the summer. But for the most part, everything is probably 99% sorted now. And what's here is what I take out every trip and what I see myself taking out for just about every trip in the future. So we'll kick off with what I wear walking in. So we'll just work our way from the bottom up. So we'll start with the boots. We've got the lower Ranger GDX3. Super comfy, waterproof boot. These have that sort of broken in feel as soon as you put them on. So I knew they were right. As soon as I tried them on, they're, in my book, the best boot I've had. So inside those I wear Bridgedale socks. And then I've got the Morocco 30 Snakebuster gaiters, which are meant to be snake proof. I haven't tested them out yet, but I believe Morocco 30 have. Hopefully I never have to test them out, but they're always with me. Moving on, I run the Morocco 30 camo leggings in their GDR Gully. So they're a thermal legging, nice and warm in winter. They do feel like they do breathe quite well when the weather does get a little bit warmer. But I suppose through spring and summer I probably wouldn't wear these. So I do go kind of Kiwi style most of the time with leggings and shorts. So these are the Morocco 30 Iron Stealth shorts. And super comfy, they've got a few pockets, but I don't really end up putting much in the pockets, to be honest. I do have their Iron Stealth pants as well, but usually I'll just walk in the leggings and shorts. The gaiters do a pretty good job of protecting my shins. So top half, I'll wear the Morocco 30 cross-cut merino top. So being merino, you can wear it all week and it doesn't really start to stink too much. So that's my base layer. Then mid layer, I'll wear another Morocco 30 item, which is their Vaportech thermal top. Again, it's a pretty tight fitting top, keeps me nice and warm. And again, it's one of those layers that you can just shed once it does start to warm up during the day. And on top of that, I run Morocco 30's Iron Stealth top, so it's a half zip, so you can run the zip open when it does start to warm up just to get a bit of extra airflow, and then when it does get too warm, it just ends up in the pack. But what I do like about their Iron Stealth material, just the durability of it. I know their gear is probably not the lightest hunting gear out there, but in terms of durability, I haven't been able to fault it at all. I've worn this on every trip out since I've had it, and to be honest, it still looks like it did the day I bought it. So then I'll run Morocco 30 neck gaiter, which I haven't had for too long. But if it's anything similar to the other Vaportech material, it should be nice and warm in the colder months. Then we've just got some Hunter's Element fingerless gloves and a Morocco 30 hat. Then I'll always have a walking stick to walk in when you've got 25 odd kilos on your back and you're trying to navigate down rocky slopes and all that sort of stuff. This comes in super handy, and it's probably saved me and my gear a bucket load of times already. So that's always in hand on the way in. Then another thing I've just picked up not too long ago, so I haven't used it out in the bush yet, is the Morocco 30 Zika vest. So this I'll probably wear this in when we're walking in early in the morning, and it is still quite chilly. So far, it does seem to be pretty warm. I haven't worn it out, like I said, on a trip as yet. It does come in super light, like I said, again, not the lightest ever, but I think Rob did probably sell himself a little bit short. I think he quoted the large at around 380 grams. This comes in at just under 350, and it is a large. Packs down nice and small, comes with its own stuff sack, so I'm real keen to get out and wear that and see how it goes. So that's it for what I wear on the way in terms of clothing. Here we've got the bino harness that we reviewed in episode 3. So it's the Kuyu Pro bino harness. In here at the moment, it's got a little torch. If we're walking back to camp in the dark or whatever and it doesn't justify using the head torch, I'll use that. Rangefinder is just a cheapie from Aldi, so this is something I'll look at upgrading over the summer, I think. In terms of optics, at the moment I'm running the Swarovski SLC. So these are probably the best glass I've ever seen. I know there's better out there, but for me, it fits my budget and it's just an awesome bit of gear. I know in the last episode I didn't really get too much into what I put in this accessory pouch on the bottom of the harness. Still haven't decided. At the moment I've just got some electrical tape for keeping the muzzle taped and a Fox 40 whistle. Alright, so let's move on to what goes into my pack. So starting off, we've got the Kuyu Pro 6000 pack, so 6,000 cubic inch, which in metric it works out to roughly 98 litres I think, so it's a huge pack. It's cinched down nice and small at the moment, so it can be used as a day pack, which I tend to do. Inside that, so I run the Kuyu Stalker 500 with a 3-litre hydration bladder inside, and I run the Hydro Pack full force tube setup. So it means I can pump water out if I need to wash my hands or if I cut myself or whatever. I can use a bit of clean water to wash up and whatnot. So inside this I'll run a soya squeeze filter as well, so I've always got clean drinking water on hand. This Stalker 500 is a good little bit of kit. It weighs next to nothing in your pack, and it does surprisingly fit a fair bit of gear in it, so I can take it out and usually fit enough in there to get me through the day. So I can fit a few snacks, usually can get my wet weather gear in there, and enough water for the day. So that always goes with me now. And again, like I said, it doesn't weigh much at all, so you don't notice it in the pack. And it means I can store my hydration bladder centrally in the pack rather than in the 2 side pockets that the Pro 6000 has. Right, so moving on to my shelter and sleep system. So at the moment I'm running the One Planet Goodly 2-person tent. I just like a little bit of extra space that you get running a 2-person tent, and the weight penalty is not much at all. So I run the full nylon inner and the 30D fly. I probably could have gotten away with a slightly lighter setup by going with the mesh inner and the 7D fly, but I figured the nylon inner was going to be better through the colder months than the mesh. And for the weight penalty, the 30D fly is just going to be a hell of a lot more durable than the 7D, I think. So I'll stick with that. Total all up, it's just over 2 kilos, so not the lightest tent, but it has proven to be pretty bomb-proof so far. So I'd rather have a little heavier tent than something that's super light, flimsy and likely to blow away if a big storm rolls through. So sleep system, I've got the Cedar Summit Etherlight XT inflatable mat. It is the women's version, so I run the women's long. A mate of mine, Nathan, that runs the Edge of the Outback channel, put me onto this mat, and in particular the women's version, because it does have a slightly higher R value, so the insulation is just that little bit better than the standard version. In terms of pillow, I've got the Cedar Summit Eros pillow with a down cover, so that should be nice and warm. Sleeping bag is another One Planet item, the Cocoon -8. So it weighs just on 700 grams, packs up nice and small. Likewise, the sleeping mat is around the 500 gram mark, I think, from memory. Again, it packs up real small, and its stuff sack has a pump built into it, so I don't need to carry any extra pumps. I'm not blowing my own air into the mat, so it keeps any sort of condensation out of the mat, which is good. So total shelter and sleep system would be looking at just over 3 kilos, I'd say, which again isn't the lightest setup out there, but it's plenty light enough for me. Keeps me dry and warm. So that's all I really ask out of the shelter and sleep system. So we'll move along. So first aid kit, tried to keep this as light and compact as possible, without being silly and taking out things that I need and can't do without. In my book, if I don't know how to use something, it doesn't need to be in the first aid kit. If I somehow injure myself to the point where nothing in this will either treat the injury or get me in a state where I can get myself out, that's where the PLB comes in. Touch wood, that hasn't happened, and I hope it never does. And 9 times out of 10, this will keep me out of trouble. Next up, we've got just a little bit of an emergency kit. So this hasn't got anything out of the ordinary in it at all. It's really just got some extra electrical tape, another little torch, some waterproof matches, some fast fire tinders, a fire starter, and a compass as a backup if the GPS packs it in. But other than that, yeah, nothing out of the ordinary. And I think it's probably personal preference as to what you put in this if you do carry one. It's just stuff that you think will get you out of trouble should you get into any. Next up, we've got just a little toiletries sack. So just toothpaste, toothbrush, toilet paper, and just some hand wash and whatnot. Nothing too crazy in there. Just enough to stay clean out in the bush. Next here we've got Maroka 30 rifle bivvy. So this is waterproof, fully sealed like a dry bag essentially. So the rifle will usually go in this on the way in if the weather's going to be wet or we're going to be pushing through particularly thick bush. I like to keep my rifle pretty tidy, and if we're walking in a fairway, I know I probably should be hunting, but I like to focus on walking in, getting set up, and then getting in as much hunting time from there. So usually the rifle will end up on this on the way in, and then come out once we get to camp. So next, just some extra clothes. So I'll carry an extra set of thermals to sleep in. What's not here is an extra pair of the Bridgedale socks. So I'll alternate those on a daily basis, just so it gives them a chance to dry out and whatnot. I'll carry some extra socks to sleep in, and just another little beanie to sleep in as well if it does get cold. Next we've got my pack rain cover, so that's always in the water bottle pouch on the pack. Pack is pretty water resistant, I think. Haven't tested it in anything too wet, but it does seem to keep most water out. Obviously, if you're going to be crossing creeks or rivers or the rain is coming down pretty hard, then the rain cover will need to go on. So that's always in a water bottle pouch, handy and easy to get to. Next we've got just this little Kathmandu solar powered lantern. So this will hang up in my tent through the night if I need to get up for any reason or get changed. That's always there ready to go. We can hang it up at camp when we're cooking in the dark. Charged, like I said, solar charged, so it'll hang on my pack on the way in, and be left at camp during the day, so it's always ready to go at night. Next we've got some, these are Plat Attack cold weather gloves. They're waterproof, somewhat insulated, so they keep the hands warm. They're super handy if you're filling up water bottles and stuff in a creek and the creek's freezing cold. These keep your hands warm and dry, so these are always in the bag. They weigh next to nothing really, so they're always handy. Next up we've got kill kit. So again, I won't go into too much detail as to what's in this. We've got just a little bone saw, which again doesn't weigh much. It packs up nice and small. And we've got some slash-proof gloves. Most people probably don't carry these, but I just don't trust myself around sharp blades, so I'd rather carry these than chop my fingers off. And then my knife that I carry at the moment. So again, Nathan at Edge of the Outback put me onto this. It's an Eagle Hawk Talon. So it uses number 60 scalpel blades, I think, from memory. Weighs about 50 grams complete. I've wrapped the handle in some paracord, so I've got a little bit of extra paracord in the pack if I do need it. And then all else that's in here is just some extra scalpel blades for the Eagle Hawk, and it's just all in a little Cedar Summit mesh stuff sack. So it just keeps everything organised. I know where everything is. I'd rather not be looking for stuff in the pack if I don't need to, if I can just use a little stuff sack like that to keep everything handy. Next up, we've got power bank, which is the Digitech 20,000 milliamp hour, so I use that to charge my GPS, phone and head torch. So it is a bit hefty. I wouldn't mind getting a lighter weight one, but it does the job for now, and just some cables and some AAA batteries that I carry in as well. So then we've got the Petzl Active Core head torch, so that's my main head torch to use through the night. I do carry just a little Petzl mini head torch as a backup in an emergency if this one dies. This does come with a rechargeable battery, but it does also accept AAA's. So I'll try and keep the rechargeable battery charged, not leaving it on charge overnight. But worst case, I do carry some extra AAA's just in case. Then we've got AccuSat PLB. Again, hopefully I never have to use this, but it's always in my pack just in case. Just a little basic rifle cleaning kit. So just to pull through some patches and some gun oil in there. Then I've got my Kuyu glassing pad. So this just slots in nicely between the pack and the frame. Doesn't weigh much. You forget that it's even there, to be honest. But this is good if we're in a glass somewhere we can't set up chairs. This is good, keeps your bum dry and just provides a little bit of padding if you're sitting on rocks, which is really good. Moving on to GPS, so we've got the Garmin Rhino 750. Does have its issues, but all in all, really good GPS. I think I said in the Badlands bino harness review, the magnets in the harness caused heaps of issues with this, as well as with phone and watch. But moving to the Kuyu harness should solve all that. Then we've got the Halanox little pocket shovel. So that's handy for digging holes, more often than not just when you need to go to the toilet. So that's always in the pack, ready to go. Then we've got the Hydro Pack Expedition 8 litre water storage container. So this rolls up nice and small and really just gets filled up at camp. I'll always carry it in empty and fill it up once we find water. So really I only carry sort of 2.5, 3 litres in the hydration bladder, and this will just get filled up once we make camp for the trip. Just comes in handy as water for cooking, cleaning, rather than emptying the main bladder all the time. Next we've got my rain gear. So I've got the Maroka 30 pack jacket, which is kind of like more of a poncho, I suppose. Seems to be really good. Like a lot of raincoats will soak through eventually. So far, this hasn't. And we've got rain pants. I've got the Hunter's Element Odyssey pants. They're super light for what they are. They pack up really, really small, and they do seem to breathe quite well. The big thing I was worried about with running rain pants is putting them on, getting all sweaty underneath them, and ending up wet anyway. Because if you're going to end up wet, there's no point wearing rain pants. Might as well just let the rain make you wet. Chair. I swore I'd never take a chair out hunting, and really, really tried to stay away from it. But then I came across the Halanox Chair Zero. And to be honest, I'll probably never leave home without it anymore. It's just that little bit of luxury that sometimes you need out in the bush. And for the weight, I think it's just around the 500 gram mark. I feel like you're silly not to take this out. Meat bag, at the moment, I've got the Hunter's Element Plateau, I think it is. I've had this for ages. Packs up nice and small and pulls out into a little backpack type deal. This is one of the things I'll probably look at changing out over summer. I've been looking at the Kuyu boned out meat bags. They seem to be a stack lighter than this. So much so that I can probably carry 2 of the Kuyu bags and still be lighter than this. I think this is around the 160 gram mark. So again, not heavy, but if I can shave off a few grams, I'm all about that. So next we've got just the Morocco 30, Vaportech beanie and their 5-in-1 balaclava. I was umming and ahhing about whether to add this to the pack list. So it can be run as a neck gaiter, balaclava, beanie, but it just gives me a spare beanie and balaclava as well as a neck gaiter. If this stuff ends up wet, this will be in the pack ready to go, nice and dry. Cook system, so it's got a 1 litre pot. In here, got some hand sanitizer, a little towel to dry up the pot when it's all done, a little scourer to clean the pot. My stove is a Soto Windmaster, so it's super light, under 100 grams I think. Just a little knife for cutting food bags and stuff open, Jetboil canister support, and a Cedar Summit cup. So this is one of the things I'll be looking at changing over summer. I'm looking at going to a titanium pot that I can use as a mug as well. So I'll probably potentially cut my weight in half for the cooking system. The only thing that's missing from here is just the small Jetboil gas canisters. Obviously I've got no food out here, so I usually try and keep the weight down on the food, so between half a kilo and a kilo per day, depending on what I'm carrying. I am looking at changing up the main meals that I take out. So at the moment I'm using a lot of Strive meals, which are made in Tassie, which are quite good. They're really, really tasty, but they require a little bit more effort than say your backcountry meals and whatnot. I'm hoping to get onto something that I can just eat straight out of the bag and just saves me a bit of time cleaning. So I'm looking at going to Radix, which I think I saw Robbo from Bold Action Productions do a bit of a review on a little while ago. They seem really good. I don't know what they weigh and all that sort of stuff, but if it means I can just eat them straight out of the bag, if there is a bit of a weight penalty, it's probably worth it in my book. Okay, so lastly we just got puffy jacket. So it's a Macpac Sundowner, so it's super warm, doesn't weigh too much. It's really not a jacket that you go stalking in. It's mainly in the pack just for when we sit down for long glassing sessions or around camp at night when the temperature does drop down quite a lot. But that's always in the pack ready to go. Like I said, it is really, really warm, so it's good for sitting down for long periods of time when you're not moving around too much and the body does tend to cool down. For the rest of the time, that's where the Zika vest will come in. So I think we've pretty much covered everything. Like I said, there'll be probably a few changes over summer, but I'll put it out to you guys to drop a comment, let me know if there's anything here that you'd like a better look at. And I can do an in-depth video of anything that you've seen in this video. So don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop a comment down below with what you've liked in this video. And yeah, we'll see what we can do for episode 5. So I've got no idea what episode 5 is going to be on, so I'll put it out to you guys to make the choice for me. So that'll be it for today, and we'll see you in episode 5. Thanks, guys.